Relationships. Let's talk about relationships. No, we're not going to talk about relationships. We're going to talk about relationships. So, relationships are the name of the game in life and in business. So, the skills that we developed based on the multitude of jobs and experiences that we have give us the ability to accomplish tasks and meet the responsibilities that we have, but it's the relationships that provide us the opportunities. So, today we're going to talk about the art of networking, how to fall in love with networking, or at least not make it suck. Okay. So, welcome back to Launch Your Business Live, where we make making money online clear and simple and successful so you can build wealth and independence, work from home, and turn your part time business into a full-time income. So, my name is Maryann Lombardi. I am the founder and CEO of Maryann Lombardi Coaching. I'm an author and the single parent of the coolest child on the planet. I've been helping small business owners thrive for 20 plus years. It's kind of a long time. And my mission is to do the same for you. So let's jump right into this. Some people love it. I kind of love it. Others dread it. But there's no way of getting around the fact that networking is a key to securing that next career adventure or starting your side business. Now, before we jump into the how-tos, I want to dispel a myth. You do not have to be an extrovert to be good at networking. You do not have to be wildly outgoing to be great at networking. And here's a little secret. I am a closet introvert, but I'm a very good networker because I like people, right? I like to talk to people. I like to connect with people. So you have to be intentional, but networking is this quality over quantity activity. It is about the quality of the conversations that you have, not the amount of people that you talk to, not the amount of people that you collect business cards from, not the amount of people that you have in your network. Also keep in mind that networking, it's a long game. Okay. So make sure that you're not going into every conversation as if it's a transaction, because some of those conversations might lead to an opportunity now and then, but more often the conversation is going to lead to the relationship, and that relationship is going to lead to the opportunity a little later down the line. So the first step to making networking fun and not suck is to set your intentions and your goals. And we talked a little bit about this last week, but it bears repeating, because if your intent is to look for a new job, maybe it's to seek advice or mentorship regarding some project or career growth, or get involved in community, or start a business. And maybe what you want is to research your ideal audience. Each of these things, they're very different, and they're going to require you to seek out different kinds of people at places where they're different, right? So you're going to be doing your network differently in different places with different people. So you want to be clear about what you want to gain by your networking. So setting your intention is a powerful tool for focusing your attention, right? So once you have set your intention, you're going to set networking goals. And those goals could be like, how many people do you want to get on calls with in a week or in a month? How many people do you need to reach out to hit those goals? Because maybe you want to schedule calls with 3 new people each week. Maybe you want to set calls with 10 new people each week, right? Neither is better or worse than the other. You just need to define it. So say you want to set calls with 3 new people each week. That's awesome. That might require you to reach out to 12 people every week or so, depending on how responsive that your community is. And more if you're doing cold outreach, but we're going to come back to talk about cold outreach. So think through this kind of stuff and set realistic goals for yourself, and then stick to them, because measuring your success at networking and the progress that you're making is really going to make you feel better about what's going on, especially when there isn't an immediate response or an immediate outcome attached to it. So your commitment to your goals is going to be a big piece of that success. So the next thing you need to do is start with who you know. We all know people. right? But often when we start networking, we get overwhelmed thinking that we're going to have to connect with all of these new people that we have to reach out to that we don't know, and it can be a little bit like, and yes, you're going to do some of that. But you'd be surprised how many people that you already know that can be useful. So we want you to start with who you know. For example, if you are looking for a new job that's 100% remote with a good company culture, do you have any friends or social media friends who have a job like that? If so, reach out and ask them for a virtual coffee date or, like to do a local happy hour or something like that. And maybe you're looking to start a side business as a language tutor and you're networking to do kind of a little client research. You want to find out how people, start these businesses or why they get into it. Do you have any friends or colleagues that are learning a language or have recently learned a language? And maybe you know somebody who started a side business. So, in either of these situations, you want to text them or DM them or go analog and like use a rotary phone. I don't know if any of you ever had a rotary phone. We had a rotary phone and ask them, to talk. Right? Reach out to them where they are, where you see them the most, where they respond the most. I mean, if it's at yoga class, talk to them after yoga class, right? And just reach out to them and be direct and be honest when you reach out. So, for example, I think Ellen is going to be our person for today. Hey, Ellen, you could say, hey, Ellen. Well, don't say hey, say hi. Hey is not cool. Say hi. Hi, Ellen. I'm just about to start a new job search that I'm super excited about and kind of nervous about. And I know you recently went through this and found a great remote position. I was wondering if you might have 20 minutes to chat with me about your experience. Simple and direct. Or you could say, hi, Ellen. I remember you mentioning you started learning French recently. I've been doing a little research and I'm chatting with people about their experience with language training. And I was wondering if you might have 50 minutes to chat with me about yours. Again, very simple, but it's an easy way to reach out to people that you know. And most people are all too happy to help. They want to give advice, they want to connect you with other people. We all want to feel needed and feel wanted and be helpful. So keep that in mind. A lot of time helping you helps them. So don't be afraid to reach out to the people that you know and ask them for help. Now, once you sit down with folks, the next step is you really got to ask good questions. You don't want to come in there and sit down and just start reminiscing, right? You're there with the specific time that you have allotted to network and learn, right? So you want to ask good questions and you want to respect their time. So make sure you do a little research so you're prepared to ask good questions during your time together and be respectful of their time, because if you set a call for 15 minutes, don't run over. And if you are job searching, I know that you really want to get hired, but your networking call isn't about asking for a job. It is about listening and learning and connecting. So be careful not to jump right in with, hey, yo, are there any job openings? Can you like put a good word for me? Okay, just don't do that, because that'll stop the conversation very quickly, because the person sitting across from you is not your recruiter. So ask Ellen how she likes working for such and such company. How long was her job search? Any advice that she has from her own experience, whether she encountered any different companies that had a good remote opportunities that you might research. Those are the kind of questions that you want to ask her. And at the end, you can ask her if she can suggest anyone else that you can speak with who has recently been through the same experience, who may be able to provide you some advice. And if she knows somebody, she mentions something, you can say, hey, would you be willing to make an introduction? So, after you've had this conversation with Ellen, you really want to follow up and follow through. Make sure you send a thank you after your networking call. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can be a text, it can be a DM, an email, whatever it is. And make sure you thank that person for their time. And if Ellen does make an introduction for you, to someone else. Make sure that you follow through on any connections or suggestions that she provides, because if she's suggesting a company to research, look into them. And if anything comes of that suggestion, follow up and let her know it was helpful and say, hey, I looked at this company, I went down and I met so and so, and thank you so much for turning me onto that company, because I wouldn't have found them otherwise, right? Just make sure that you thank them, because your attention to detail in this process is your friend as a networker. Now, let's talk about cold outreach. And cold networking is going to follow all the same principles that we just talked about, except you're going to make a connection with someone that you don't already know, or someone you don't have a connection with. And this is what cold outreach is. And the best way to do cold outreach is to warm it up, right? So maybe Ellen suggests such and such company, but doesn't have a contact there and you don't know anybody there. So you do some research on that company and you're impressed and you want to speak with someone. This is where LinkedIn is your friend. So you want to go down the LinkedIn rabbit hole to find people, and these people are hiring managers or those who are in decision-making positions who work there. Check to see if they are active on LinkedIn. And what that means is that they're commenting or posting. Just because somebody has a profile on LinkedIn doesn't mean they actually use that profile or they are active on that profile. And there's no point in trying to start up a conversation with somebody who is clearly not active on the platform, because that's just going to make you feel kind of crappy, right? Because you start DMing somebody and, they don't respond and they're like, why are they not responding? Well, they're not responding because they're not really on the platform. That isn't about you. So just make sure that they are active on that platform. And you can see if you have any connections in common. Or maybe you have a shared work history. You've done a certain kind of job, or you worked at a certain educational institution, or you went to the same college. Who knows what it is. Oftentimes people will say, when they connect with me, folks who have like artistic backgrounds, they'll be like, hey, I see that you worked in the theater and I worked in the theater. And it's just kind of a nice way of starting a conversation, because we have a little something that we can talk about that's different than maybe some of the other conversations. Now, and if this person is posting, right, if they're doing content, make sure that you start commenting on their posts or follow them. And you can warm up the connection by doing it. And after you warm it up, it's easier. It's so much easier to strike up a conversation in the DMs about something that they posted about, or reach out to them about that shared connection. So, for example, this one is for Mary. If you're here and you're watching, you can say, hi, Ellen. I appreciated your post the other day about your recent experience on a Habitat for Humanity build. I completely agree with how transformational volunteering can be for communities being served and the people participating, right? So don't make an ask. Just see if you can start a conversation. And when Ellen responds, you can follow up with a question or see where that conversation takes you. So finally, don't take the no's or the silences personally. Our brain has a tendency to focus on the negative more than the positive. We do all have a negativity bias, but do your best to interrupt that by focusing on the future, because you are networking for your future. You are networking for the future of you and your family and your job and whatever this new life, whatever this new experience is, right? You have all of this stuff before you that you get to jump into, which is awesome, right? So whether you're starting a business or starting or looking for a new job, be focused on the future, right? How it's going to change your life. So try to interrupt any of that negativity by focusing on that. So thanks for being here. I hope the networking stuff helped. Let us know if you have any questions, and I'll see you next week. All right. Bye.